Hello. Welcome to the next in the series of review clips designed to assist you in preparing for your Biology 3201 public examination. In this clip, we'll be taking a look at convergent and divergent evolution. Now, at the same time as historical factors such as continents moving are affecting organisms, we often see similarities in form and behavior between organisms living in the same environment, yet they have quite different evolutionary histories. This is as a result of convergence and parallels in their developmental history. Convergent evolution is natural selection that molds similar body structures in unrelated organisms. We can clearly see that in North America, placental mammals, and in Australia, while unrelated, they share many similar features. This is as a result of evolution acting in similar fashion in different environments. We see it in the following plants that you see in front of you. On the left is the ocotillo, which is found in southwestern North America. It is remarkably similar to the elodea, which is found in Madagascar. While these plants are not closely related, they owe their resemblance to analogous adaptations that evolved independently in response to similar environmental pressures. We also had to be aware of coevolution. Evolutionary change in one organism may also be followed by corresponding changes in others. If you look at the flower and hawk moth that you see in front of you, this is an example of coevolution at work. The orchid has an unusually long spur where the nectar is located to. The hawk moth has an equally long feeding tube which enables it to feed on nectar. You often see this in predator-prey relationships. A fast rabbit will be followed by the development of fast foxes. In order for the fox to continue to feed, it must become fast. The rabbit, to avoid being eaten, must become faster. Both species, both rabbit and foxes, have become faster over time as a result. Many birds had evolved to become flightless from different environments. The rhea, tinamou, the ostrich, the kiwi, the emu, and the cassowary, now extinct. The ostrich is found in Africa, the emu and cassowary and kiwi in Australia, the rhea and tinamou in South America. No direct relationship, yet they have developed similar features because of the similar environments acting upon them in a similar fashion. Yet this does not mean that they diverged at the same time. And a striking similar form does not necessarily mean they lived in the same type of environment. It does, however, mean that correlated sets of characters might have come as packages and selectors acted on different characters. It might produce what looks like parallel or convergent evolution, but the environments could, in actual fact, be very different. We have to understand the difference between homology and analogy. Homology is due to shared ancestry. The forelimb of a whale and a human are an example of that. Analogy are similarity due to convergent evolution. Where convergent evolution, the independent development of similarity between species as a result they're having similar ecological roles and selection pressures. The wing of an insect and the wing of a bat are analogous structures, but they're certainly not homologous. Similarity, you see, might be due to convergence and not to homology when you look at it and try and distinguish between the two. Now, when populations are placed in different environments, they will have different traits favored. This leads to speciation. Divergent evolution are species moving apart. Convergent evolution, on the other hand, are species moving together. Convergent evolution versus divergent evolution. On the left, divergent, On the right, Convergent. We do know that evolutionary history of particular families is characterized by sudden explosions of speciation and sudden extinctions. This can be explained through adaptive radiation. Adaptive radiation is a sudden burst of speciation associated with occupancy of new niches, new environmental roles to be played. Adaptation radiation functions as a result of competitive release. We see this when immigration occurs, where many niches are still not occupied, islands for example, or in periods following mass extinctions. In short, adaptive radiation is the emergence of numerous species from a common ancestor that is introduced into an environment. This new environment presents a diversity of new opportunities and subsequent problems. We can see an example when we look at island populations. I present the following for your consideration. If you look at a mainland and island, we have an original island where the population moved to an island environment. In moving, it colonized a new island which may have had an entirely new range of possibilities. As a result of this, it developed independently into a new species. This new species might have moved to a third island, a third environment, again with new opportunities. It too may have developed and evolved into a new species which may have moved into another island or relocated back to the first. Over time, we get a whole host and range of new species developing as the population develops, eventually creating a whole host of new species. This development of new species, when coupled with new opportunities, is adaptive radiation. Darwin's finches in the Galapagos are a prime example of adaptive radiation. From the original mainland ancestor, a whole host of new species were formed on the various islands. Public examination have posed questions on this. I present the following. Explain how the population of birds described below will change over time and state a factor that might influence this change. The paragraph reads, in birds, the ability to crush and eat seeds is related to size, shape, and thickness of the beak. Birds with larger, thicker beaks are better adapted to crush open seeds than are larger. One species of bird found in the Galapagos is the medium ground finch. It is easier for most of the medium ground finches to pick up and crack open smaller seeds than larger seeds. When food is scarce, some of the birds have been observed eating larger seeds. The accepted answer for this question was that you were looking at directional selection towards larger beaks or possibly disruptional selection leading to speciation. You're expected to include that competition is the primary factor which will influence change, whether smaller will be outcompeted by larger with large, or whether species small will be outcompeted by species with larger beaks. Sometimes a common error that a small bird will grow a larger beak within its lifetime. That will be in Lamarckian ideas. 2 points available for this question were awarded such that you have 1% for stating how and 1% for the factor that influenced the change. Another question is posed on this topic, reads, which describes the fact that the ostrich and emu look very similar and live in similar habitats, although they are not closely related. The correct answer to this would be B, convergent evolution. And this question is posed, which process of evolution states distantly related organisms can develop similar characteristics over time? The correct answer for this would have been B, convergent. Thank you for your attention. I hope you found this learning clip to be helpful.